All right. So I thought I'd just come here and just talk for a second. I feel like when I write too much stuff down, it sometimes gets very scripted and doesn't feel as natural. So I want to talk about what I learned from coaching youth sports. First of all, I think one of the things I did really well was I went into each session with a full like session plan. I would actually go through and sit down and say, "Hey, what are the objectives that we're trying to get better at?" My first session, I remember I knew it was going to be way harder than it looked. Like when I'd seen coaches doing it, when I started playing red light, green light, and these kids were already not rocking with it. And I was like, man, I thought I would know what elementary school kids think is fun. And I just simply do not. I added a rule one time, which was the players have to pass twice before they get their flag pulled, or else it's a turnover. And if you've seen flag rugby, they are running straight sideways every single time. So making them pass twice was like they'd make that first pass because they have to because you got your flag pulled one pass. Forcing them to do that second pass, like some people could not do it, and they would mess it up for their team like three times in a row by just immediately running sideways, and then his flag gets pulled, and I'm like, that's another turnover. I said you got to make another pass. And they would get so frustrated with this rule I added. It was frustration being passed from his team to onto them for messing up this rule so many times, and then onto me for making the rule. And the motivation behind the rule is obviously like force these guys to pass. But it kind of backfired into just these kids being like Screw Jackson while this drill was going on. So little things like that, it's like the motivation makes sense. It's clear. I want them to pass. There's other games that don't that didn't have as much friction. For example, one of my best drills was we played ball tag. So you're stuck in this little tiny square, and you're passing between each other, and you got to tag the people with the ball, but you can't run with the ball. A rule of thumb for drills that weren't working well is when they were waiting in lines too much. Waiting around in lines, like maybe it was just my group, but they would really lose focus quickly if I had them waiting in a line during a drill. And in general, like if I ever looked around during a drill and like a couple kids are just like sitting on the floor, I'd be like, this drill has to go. That's like chopping block. You can't just have kids sitting on the floor. That means they're really, really bored. But yeah, I think the approach that I initially had was good. It was like I'm coming into this not knowing how to coach youth sports, and I'm going to take each session as a learning opportunity to just get better and know what drills work, know how to run a good drill, know how to keep their attention. And in that regard, I definitely succeeded. I definitely got a lot better at coaching, but it was way harder than I thought it was going to be. Like I thought in general, especially coming in as somebody who really knows rugby, like knowing rugby is just not the most important thing for coaching youth rugby, or I would assume youth sports in general. It's really about making it fun, and you're almost trying to trick the kids into playing rugby. You're trying to like oh, we're doing ball tag, forcing you to move the ball around, and A, you're working on your passing. B, you're working on your communication, trying to call for the ball. The players in the box are working on evasive maneuvering. I think in general, the whole operation might be a little different if it's like a club sport. So, like a sport that either you have cuts, so then there's some sort of stakes, or even like just an out of school program. Because mine was an in school program. Maybe they'd finish school and go to rugby, and they have to be at rugby. Some of them don't like voluntarily sign up, sort of. Um, like it's just like the one that their parents have them in or whatever, and they're really just there because their friends are doing it or something, which you have to recognize. Like I mean, that's part of the group. So you gotta make it fun, and you have to make it extra fun just because they're little kids. And like the best thing for their rugby career is for them to have fun now while they're playing rugby or at rugby practice. Even if the drills don't look like rugby practice and we're not doing like our 2v1s are basically useless. Like the drills we're doing aren't super super rugby. They're just a little bit of passing, just using the ball, and a bit of a scrimmage at the end. And even if they're just running it straight sideways and trying to find gaps like that, it's like as long as they're having fun, I feel like that's by far the most important thing. I just had so much fun, and I still have so much fun, and I want that for the kids. So, yeah, make it fun. That's the big advice. Like, the games don't all have to be like exactly rugby. They can just be like fun games with a ball. Like kick tennis, you're kicking the ball, but it's just like literally kicking the ball. Like you could do it with a soccer ball. It's just like nuke 'em. Yeah. So that's my little rant. I'm sure there's more things, but that's kind of my lasting impression. It was hard. It was a tough season. You'd finish some of those with like your voice would be gone and you would just be like drained from just trying to keep these kids on track. They did well, and I could see new friendships and very rewarding experience being like somebody that's involved in their development as an athlete and a person and stuff.